Today I'm at TeamSport Preston, a track I've never driven before, surrounded by fast, experienced members, and I've got one shot to prove myself. This is the Trackmaster, a new members event with a brutal format. One lap qualifying sets the grid for a 20-minute sprint race, no warm-ups and no second chances. But it doesn't stop there. The results of that sprint will they set the grid for a 30-minute feature race. Longer, tougher, and with a surprise strategic element which might just turn the race on its head. Everything is going to build up to that final showdown. And by the end of it, we'll know exactly where I stand. Or don't. Let's go qualify.
Alex, 45.
Cheers, Mum. Is it? No pressure.
Let's head out on track then, and I'll show you round really quickly as we set our one and only qualifying lap for this event. TeamSport Preston is basically all hairpins. This is the start-finish straight. We're going to go left over the start-finish line. My lap has now begun. I hit the boost, go around these two left-handers, up the ramp, another left-hander into another left-hander, and then we're at the first of two hairpins. Keep the kart nice and tidy through that first one, and then don't use all of the width of the track on the exit. Then we've got a right-left kink, which I mess up.
Oh, that was bad.
And then we head down the ramp into another left hairpin. I'm clearly not happy with that one. Then a right hairpin.
What was that?
Which I'm also furious about, followed by this final left hairpin before we rejoin that start-finish straight and head across the line, setting a time of a 36.683.
Hopefully it wasn't awful.
Now all that remained was to compare laps and see how we stacked up to the rest of the field.
Mine was terrible.
The brakes really hit hard at the bottom of the ramp.
Yeah.
More than I was expecting.
I took hitting the apexes too literally. And literally hit them. Are they putting the times up? Yeah, out of 6, so. Just going to watch all the times come in and we'll go all the way to the bottom.
I think I'm not last.
Joel's wish came true. He wasn't last, but we hadn't done particularly great in qualifying, and I found myself starting the sprint race from P10. But, as I said in the intro, that's not the end of the world, because the results from this race are going to set the grid for the final feature race. So if I can move forwards here, I've got a shot of getting a good position in the final. Let's go! The lights go green and we are away. 47's had a bit of a slow start. I get checked up behind him there, nearly lose a position to the kart behind me, hit my boost up the ramp, and we've managed to secure P10. So not gone forwards, not gone backwards. That's not too bad. But it's all getting checked up ahead through these hairpins, and I managed to go down the inside of 47 into that right-hand hairpin. Just keep the kart nice and tidy now through the exit of this little kink, and we are good. Up ahead, the guy in the white suit's thinking about going for a move down the inside of this hairpin. He pulls side by side with the driver ahead, but then backs out of it as we head through the penultimate corner. Skipping forward a bit to the start of lap 2, I boost again going up the ramp, and I've got 47 right on my tail as we head through this first little sequence of hairpins. He gives me a little tap on the bumper, but there's no space there to get through. It's around now that I start to realise I've put my seat too far forwards in this kart. As we go through the tight left-right hairpins on the top floor, my foot's not coming off the brake fully, and it's causing the kart to cut out slightly, which is losing me a whole heap of time. There isn't really anywhere on this track where I can adjust the seat though, so I'm just going to have to live with it for the rest of this race. Up ahead, the guy in the white suit's getting all interested again on the kart ahead of him, but he just doesn't manage to get the overlap and slips back into single file. He is definitely being held up by the two karts ahead though, and to be honest, I am as well actually. We've closed right up here, and the guy in front in the red suit seems to be the bottleneck. As we head down the ramp to the downstairs section, the guy in the white suit goes for a move down the inside into that first hairpin, and I managed to slip through as well. Get a little tap from behind on the second hairpin, but no problem there. I tried to leave him the room, maybe did just squeeze him a little bit, and we're through and up into P8. Heading over the start-finish line again and up the up ramp, I hit my boost. I was told that this is the best place to boost around this track, apparently. Let me know if someone was just having me on. Anyway, guy in the white suit up ahead goes down the inside of kart number 23, and now he's next in our sights too. I know I need to get through him quickly if I can, because the guy in the white suit is quicker, and he's probably going to start pulling away. And there's already a decent-sized gap to the leaders up ahead. Behind me, 53's keeping on the pressure as well. He's much quicker than me through some of these hairpins. I think partly down to the fact that I'm brushing the brake pedal and scrubbing off all my speed. But he is a threat, and I'm going to need to be careful, because if I'm going to send a move on the kart ahead, I need to make sure I don't leave the door open for 53 behind. Boosting up the ramp this time, I don't think 23 has actually boosted there, so I've gained massively on him through that section of the track. I feel quicker, I just need to try and work out where's the best place to actually go for a move here. Heading up that ramp once again, I boost, and I'm pretty certain at this point now that he's not boosting up here, because look how much I reel him in towards the end of this section of the track before these left-right hairpins. I'm right on his bumper now. But it's going to take a dive and a half to try and get him into that first hairpin. I do notice here though that he's not clipping the apex in the same way that I am just before we head down the ramp. And I think there might possibly be a better opportunity there if I can just get close enough to him. The next lap over the start-finish line, I hit the boost button again going up the ramp, and we start to reel him in even more than before. Get a little bit of oversteer as we just exit the ramp, which kind of checks up my progress, but I'm now right on his bumper through these first hairpins. There was no chance of a move there, but is he going to take the same line before the down ramp? Yeah, he runs slightly wide, and it just leaves the door open for me to slip my kart down the inside into this left hairpin. There we go, job done, up into 7th place. Oh, that felt good. That was a proper thinking overtake, that one. Fortunately for me as well, 53 did not manage to make it through, and so there's now a kart between me and him, which is really good news for me. Hopefully now I can get my head down and try and build up a bit of a gap, because I'm pretty sure he's quicker than me. And I would really like to hold on to this position. Starting the final from P7 on the grid would give me a great opportunity to try and work my way further up. Because don't forget, that final is what this is all about. Annoyingly though, it looks like I spoke too soon, because 53 is now through. He got the move done in the exact same position I did just a lap later. Couple of laps further in and I'm really starting to struggle with this now. I feel like because my weight is so far over the front axle of this go-kart, I'm struggling into that hard braking zone before that first left-hand hairpin upstairs. The kart feels like it's just wanting to spin. That, coupled with the fact that my foot keeps on struggling to release from the brake pedal and the kart keeps on bogging down, means that I am losing so much time through that little complex of corners. Look how much 53 has gained on me there. I'm shaking my head in annoyance. I know I'm struggling through there. There's not really anything I can do about it though. Do you reckon we could just stop the race here and then go into the final, guys? Get me into that final, please. Unfortunately for me, race control weren't listening. We're not even halfway through this race. This genuinely might be one of the longest sprint races I've ever done. Skipping forward a few laps now to the halfway point of the race, and I have a really bad run through those two hairpins, and 53 manages to get the switch back on me here. He's now down my inside into that right-left kink. I managed to hold the position, but he gets a beautiful switch back on the exit and has the inside line down the ramp. I'm going to see if I can get a switch back on him here. I do manage to get alongside him into this next hairpin and into this next one as well, but there's not really anything I can do there, and then I just mess up that run by clipping the apex of that corner, and he's got the position. Skipping forward a few more laps and he's starting to pull away from me now, and I'm having to defend really hard from 47 behind. I'm really struggling with the balance of this kart now, and looking over my shoulder all the time to just make sure I'm doing enough to keep this position. Although I'm not 100% sure who my biggest opponent is right now, 47 or my own kart. Somehow over the next few laps I do manage to start pulling a bit of a gap to him. And I can tell you, as I rounded the penultimate corner on lap 32, I have never been so happy to see a checkered flag in my life. But I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of in bits after this one, and kicking myself for making such a stupid mistake.
Oh my god, I was sat too far forward. Kept tapping the brake and it kept cutting out.
But hey, it could be worse. At least I'd managed to move forwards 2 positions, meaning I'd be starting the final feature race from P8. And before you know it, here we are, the final, the race that this entire night has been building up towards. I double checked that my seat's in the right position for this one, and then we headed out to the grid. And as if things weren't proving difficult enough already, this race throws a strategic element into the mix. Every car on the grid has to do a joker lap. At some point during the race, you have to travel through the pits, stop, and then drive back onto the circuit again. Timing when to take the Joker lap is going to be crucial. This is the one that counts. Let's give it everything one last time at TeamSport Preston. The lights go out and we are away. It's a decent, pretty even start for everyone. Kart 40 up ahead gets on the inside of Kart 34 as we head up the ramp. I'm going to stick behind 40 here. We draw alongside 34 and then into the braking zone of this first hairpin. We are through and up into P7. Up ahead, everyone's keeping it pretty neat. There's no side-by-side action, so there's nothing we can really capitalise on there. And then someone jokers immediately on lap 1. And this is fascinating because this is where the strategy comes in. If you're stuck behind a group of battling karts, you could pit, come out in clean air and get some really good lap times in. And then when those karts who are battling pit, you could be ahead of them, all without having to actually make the overtakes on track. I'm not 100% sure what my strategy is going to be in this race. Maybe if I get stuck behind some slower drivers, I'll joker and jump ahead of them. Right now though, I'm just trying to get my head down and chase after number 40. But although I want to be looking forwards, really I should have been looking behind at this point. Because right on my tail is Kart 30, the guy I was defending from at the end of the sprint. He goes down my inside, down the ramp as someone ahead jokers, and I've dropped a position. That was a lovely opportunistic move from him, and my pain is not over because the guy in the white suit also has luck. I managed to hold it down the inside into the penultimate corner, but he gets a great exit. I think he must have hit the boost button there. I hit my boost a little too late, but I run wide into this first section. There is no grip on the outside of that corner when you get off the racing line, and up the ramp 34 goes down my inside and is through. And as we go into the hairpins, 26 behind is looking interested as well, but I just managed to cover him off there and he can't get the switch back on me. That has not been an ideal sequence of corners. We've now lost 2 positions. The thought did cross my mind there very briefly that I could joker at this point, but I remember that in the sprint this guy in the white suit was really quick and he actually drove away from me, so maybe I can use him as a bit of a marker, try and learn some better lines around this track, pump in some quick lap times and just try and close up on the pack ahead. Flash forward a lap later though, and we have stayed right in touch with the guy in the white suit, and now I start to realise that maybe I do have a little bit more pace than him here. Maybe now is the time to joker and see if we can jump ahead of him on strategy. Kart 31 behind goes for a little bit of a move as we go into the left-hander there, which just checks me up a little bit, and right when I was about to joker, the red flag comes out. I think it was for this fella who'd stopped on the ramp. One of the rules about the Joker lap that the marshals made very clear was that you're not allowed to take it during a red or a yellow flag, and if you do, you'll have to take it again. So as the situation was cleared, that guy was rescued and the track went back to yellow flag conditions, I had no choice but just to continue on. Shortly after, the green flag came out and we were back to racing speed again, and the guy in the white suit had a bit of a gap to me. So I told myself I'll get my head down, try and close him up a little bit more, and then when I get onto his bumper, I'll joker. Flash forward to lap 9 now, and I'd noticed that although we were very, very similar pace, I'd started to close up to him a bit here, so I've decided I'm going to joker this lap. Stick my hand up in the air, look at the light just to make sure it's not turned yellow, and then disaster as I head into the pits. Kart 30 has done his joker lap at the exact same time, and I just didn't catch it. Looking back at the footage, I've no idea why, but I just didn't catch that he was in the pit lane until I was in myself. Oh, and now I am fuming. This is going to cost me.
Come on.
When you're waiting to get back to racing speed, this pit lane speed limiter is agonising. That guy was the guy who jokered on lap 1. He's gone through already. I feel like that has gone horrendously. And instead of pulling a winning strategy out and jumping ahead of people, I felt like I'd done a prime Ferrari strategy.
And box now, box now, box for hard. Stay out. Fuck! Why? What I do? Tire, position 5.
Fuming at myself, I realised that I really only had one option available to me now. To push like an ostrich that had been set on fire. Yeah, it's all I can do really. Hopefully when the guy in the white suit pits and rejoins, I can be somewhere close to him, but I've got a bad feeling about this. And to make matters worse, little did I know that I was being hunted. That's Kart 40, the guy who managed to overtake me beautifully in that sprint race earlier. He jokered earlier in the race, and somehow I've managed to come out ahead of him on track, which is a bit mad, but he's closed right up to me now, and I know he's quick. Fortunately, adjusting that seat position has helped me massively, and I'm not dropping as much time through this hairpin section. But now I am having to start thinking about defending a little bit. As we head into corners, I'm putting my car a little bit more towards the middle of the track, making sure I don't leave any inside line open for him to dive on me. The only corner I'm not defending is this right-hand hairpin after the down ramp, and that might be crucial a little later on. Flash forward another lap and we've started to catch someone. I think this guy has a little less pace than us, and I'm really conscious that I need to get past him cleanly, because if I leave any opening, Kart 40 will take advantage. The guy ahead is a bit out of shape as we head through the upstairs section. He runs wide through this corner, glances back at me, and then I think he just moves over and lets me through there. I say thank you. I didn't really expect him to do that. It was very kind of him. That was 4th position. We're now up into P10. He has made Kart 40's job a little harder though, although as we round the final corner, Kart 40 is also through. But it has given me a little bit of breathing room. On lap 19, we get a brief yellow flag. I'm not really sure what caused this, but it wasn't out for very long. And when we get back to green flag racing, Kart 40 is right there. Heading through the final couple of corners of the lap, I can see the marshals are holding a flag out up ahead, and that's Joel exiting the pit lane. He's really close behind us there. And even though at the time I didn't know it, we've moved forwards another position. We're now in P9. Every single time we come through this downstairs section, I'm straining my eyes to try and see into the pit lane to see if I can spot the guy in the white suit. But so far, it looks like he hasn't jokered. Crossing the line to start lap 23, Kart 40 is right there. This is the closest he's been for a while, and I think I'm going to have to go defensive into the first of the 2 hairpins. There's more karts up ahead. I've got no idea if these are for position, if they're a lap ahead, a lap behind, but I know that I need to get past cleanly. But then, to my surprise and relief, the guy ahead sticks his hand up in the air and pulls into the pits to serve his joker lap. Heading on to the next lap, Kart 40 is looking very interested again as we head through the first section of hairpins. Fortunately, I found the line through there and there's no opportunity for him to get through. As we head down the ramp though and onto the downstairs section, I get a decent run through this corner, but he gets a better one and tries to throw it down my inside. Oh, I was not about to move out of his way and let him through there though, so we make contact. I think he backed off to let me keep the position, and he gives us a little wave of acknowledgement there as well. No harm, no foul. I think both of us were being very aggressive there. But let me know what you guys think of that incident. Was one of us more in the wrong than the other, or was it just a racing incident? Either way, we've weathered the first attack, but I'm sure there'll be more. Heading onto the downstairs section, I rounded the penultimate corner, and my worst nightmare came true. The guy in the white suit has done his joker lap, and he's come out miles ahead of us. That is so frustrating. Oh, surely he's gone now, right? Well, before I can answer that, I've got to navigate my way past a back marker. This is the guy who we passed earlier, 4th position. We're coming through to lap him, and he is all over the place. Fortunately, we managed to get through. But 40 almost makes it past us. That was some great driving from him there to back out and not spin us both. A lap later, and I've managed to put a little bit of distance between myself and Kart 40, which is starting to make me feel a little bit better about my pace. But right when I'm starting to dream of getting some clear air and pulling away, this happened. Oh, Kart 31 has had an amazing pit stop and he rejoins ahead of me. This is the guy who wasn't boosting up the ramp in the sprint race. He is most definitely boosting round here now. And I'm trapped. I give him a little nudge through the hairpins, which checks up my momentum. 40 has an opportunity. He almost goes down my inside there. Again, brilliant driving from him to just back out of that one. But this is the worst case scenario now. I need to get past 31 and soon, or the guy in the white suit is going to get away. The thing is, although I think I'm a bit quicker than 31, he is definitely no slouch. Jumping forwards onto lap 32, I noticed that as we head into the left-hander before the down ramp, he takes a really wide line. That was where I got him in the sprint race, and it seems like he's still taking that line now. So maybe I can use that to get past him. I just need to be careful not to open the door for Kart 40, who's still on my tail. Heading through the upstairs section on the next lap, I just clipped the inside tyre barrier there, and it slows me down enough so that I can't get alongside him as we head down the down ramp. That was a costly mistake, because now I'm stuck behind him for the whole lap pretty much until we get to that corner again. Unless I can keep the pressure on him and he makes a mistake somewhere else. The very next lap though, as we head into the upstairs section, I give him a little nudge. He's a bit slower than me through that sequence of hairpins, but then as we head into this left-hander, he gets a little wide on the exit, makes a bit of a mistake, and that's all the opportunity I need. I throw my kart down the inside. It's a copy and paste move of the one we did in the sprint race, but I'll take it. We are through and up into P7. Critically though, kart 40 does not make it through. He can't follow me through on 31, and that gives me a bit of breathing room so that I can get my head down and chase after the guy in the white suit. As the laps tick by, I can see that that gap is coming down slightly, but it feels like it's far too big of a gap to actually close down in the time we've got left in this race. Annoyingly, that's where my GoPro battery gave up the ghost, but we still have the chase camera on the back of my helmet, which is important for what you're about to see. I knew that there wasn't much time left in this race, but I got my head down and pumped in the best laps I could do. I started to build a gap to the guys behind me, and the gap to the guy in the white suit was coming down at a rate of knots. I wasn't sure if I'd have enough laps left in the race, but I gave it absolutely everything, and then, on the penultimate lap, I had really closed up onto the guy in the white suit. I hit the boost button, spotted an opening down the inside into the first of the hairpins, threw my kart down the inside, and made it up into P6. I managed to cover off his attempt at a switchback by sticking to the inside line, and then he wasn't able to get the cutback on me down the ramp. Parked my car in the middle of the track on every braking zone, going as defensive as I dared, and managed to hold on to the position to cross the finish line in P6. Oh man, that felt good. I wish I could show you the forwards facing footage, lap after lap of me catching up to that guy. God damn you, GoPro. But I was absolutely buzzing after this one. What an awesome event, and what a great track. Thanks so much to everyone who joined us out on track. Thanks to the staff for putting on an amazing evening. And thank you to you for watching this video. If you want to see more like this, hit that subscribe button. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
I think when I did that move, you could probably hear me like screaming like, oh my god, what a move!